Hi everyone and welcome to the last video of 2024 from Dean Park. As tradition now dictates, this video will look back on the new models to join the Dean Park collection during the last 12 months, and boy has it been a busy year for new models, with some superb offerings being released. I'll briefly go over the new locos, coaches and wagons that I've added this year and pick out the top 2 locos and the top 2 pieces of rolling stock. As always, I want to hear your thoughts on which is best, so please get posting in the comments section below. I really do enjoy reading all your feedback. A lot of the models you'll see have been featured during the year, but there's some late additions and a couple that have quietly slipped into the collection, so stay tuned to see them all. As always, I do appreciate you tuning in to watch my content. If you like what I do, please hit those like and subscribe buttons. It's easy to do, but it means a lot. Okay, it's time to get stuck in and showcase the models that ran on the Dean Park rails in 2024. Starting at the beginning of the alphabet, I had a few new additions from Accurascale. It was a quiet year for me on the Accura model front, as models that I'd hoped to see in 2024 will now be arriving in early 2025. However, that didn't stop me from enjoying some new products from this brand. First off, the Class 66, and this is a heavily reworked and improved Hatton 66 tooling, with major upgrades and improvements over the ill-fated Hatton shed. Gone is the wobbly running, fidgety lighting and dodgy rotating axle boxes, as all these issues have been eradicated by the chaps at Accurascale. It's all resulted in a fantastic overall package. The 66 isn't in my main sphere of modelling, but being a modern day loco, I couldn't resist the exclusive model depicting the prostate cancer liveried GBRF loco. Accurascale have nailed this livery in every way. It is really a work of art. The sound in the loco is suitably realistic, if not a little quiet. However, this has the added advantage of it not getting on your nerves as it goes around the layout, so it's a loco that you can run with sound on for a long period of time. Next up from Franny's team, we've got the long-awaited Mark IIB coaches, and this version of the Mark II was a gaping hole in the range, so I, like thousands of others, couldn't wait to get their hands on these beauties. The Mark IIC is also on the way, with dedicated ScotRail versions available, and these will be running on my layout very soon. The 2B is a tour de force. The details both on the outside and interior impress from every angle. The fine glazing allows you to see the beautifully decorated interior, which is lit thanks to a magnetic wand controlled lighting feature. The livery colours are spot on and the finish in this area is first class. The gangway ends, bogies and underframe are gorgeous. Magnetic couplers are supplied which fit perfectly into the kinematic coupler socket. One of my favourites from the Accurascale range of these coaches is the exclusive RTC liveried vehicles. These are brilliant and are rarely off my layout. I've been impressed by Accurascale's haul this year, with 2025 sure to be busier with the Class 50, 60, 89 and more 37s due to arrive, along with the Mark IIC, and no doubt more surprises will be in there too. Bachmann editions were a mix of rolling stock with some locos and multiple units added for good measure. First from Barwell, I added some Mark II Fs in Saltire ScotRail livery with DCC trim, which feature interior lighting, flashing tail lamps and central door locking lighting, all controllable via decoder on board. More coaches in the form of the newly updated Mark Is joined my collection this year, coming in a variety of colour schemes. These updated coaches now feature new bogies, which come with pickups fitted, so this should make fitting lighting easier if that's something you want to do. Other updates include the removal of the end gangway steps, making them correct for the era I model. The BR Blue is a touch lighter than on previous releases, with the grey band being a closer match to the Accurascale shade, being less of a greeny shade than on previous Mark Is. As you can see, the two coaches are side by side here, and there's still a big difference in the BR Blues that are used, but that happened on the real railway as well, so I suppose you can mix and match. The paint scheme faded over time anyway. I also added a few intercity execs into the mix to run with my Mark II in the same livery, and these are a great match and will look the part mixed in with the aircon coaches. West Coast Railway Company maroon coaches were added to replace my BR era Mark I coaches of the same colour scheme, and these vehicles will run on rail tours with locals such as Union of South Africa, Sir Nigel Gresley and of course Flying Scotsman. These coaches look the part, and I hope Bachmann add a first class coach in 2025. All that's missing from them is the coach interior update, and this would elevate the coach to an even higher level. Rail Express Systems, or RES, is a livery that I find striking, and they came into being around 1993, putting them just outside the era that I model. But I've also got some early privatisation stock, so I could run these circa 1996, along with my Class 47s, as well as my Intercity and GNR Class 91s and HSTs, in that privatisation transition period. The red is a touch more vibrant than before, but this will mix with the older BG and Gov coaches in Res and BR Blue. These coaches were a welcome release from Bachmann and have proved popular at my local shop, Scooney Hobbies in Kirkcaldy. In November, this Derby lightweight battery multiple unit arrived from Rails of Sheffield. Being an RTC blue and red, I just couldn't resist, so stumped up the £270 for this 2-car unit. This model was one of Bachmann's earlier tooling, so lacks some of the finesse and details of newer multiple units, such as sprung buffers, switch-built interior lighting and a low-profile motor. It's also a pain to remove the body to fit the 8 and the 6-pin decoders. A nice model that runs well, but it's not a completely accurate recreation of the actual unit, as the tooling wouldn't allow it, and some of the areas of the model are starting to show their age. Is it worth the asking price? Well, if you're a fan of RTC stock, you could argue yes, but as a standalone model, it really should be cheaper due to its limited electronics suite. In early December, I added an LMS inspection saloon to the collection in this attractive ScotRail livery. I've been waiting for this to be released for many years, so I was cock-a-hoop when it was announced back in the summer. The real vehicle was seen all over the ScotRail network, and I can see this being a regular visitor around Dean Park. It's a lovely vehicle with a detailed interior and underframe. Crew will be added at some point. Arriving just in time to make this video is this HSDT power car, and this high-speed train prototype was commissioned by Locomotion Models and Rails of Sheffield and has been produced by Bachmann, which some of you might think is a strange choice as Hornby already have the production HST and Mark III in their lineup. However, with so many differences between these and the prototype vehicle, it is essentially a completely different model and would have required Hornby to retool to produce it. The Bachmann model is stunning, with accurate shapes and contours around the nose. The bogies are packed with detail and it features accurate lighting at both ends. This model is a real gem, and whilst there are no Mark III coaches to run with it in a realistic formation, it forms an important part of British rail history, so I just had to add one to the collection. Bringing up the rear with the Bachmann additions is this new Class 37 in rail freight grey with red stripe. A former Scottish machine, before being renumbered and sent south, this loco will be seen on a variety of freightwork around the network. Bachmann have done a great job of this livery, and the Bachmann 37 is one of the best models on sale today, and when the opportunity came up to add this sound-fitted deluxe model to the collection for a good price, I pounced, with Rainbow Railways taking my money in this instance. "2025 will see the all-new singing and dancing Class 08 arrive, which has to be one of the most overdue models for a retool, so it was great news when Bachmann finally announced it in the spring. I'm hopeful that we'll see a few more Class 47s being announced too, as it's been over 2 years since the last of these highly detailed models were released. Fingers crossed for a standard BR Blue version with high intensity headlight, which is so long overdue, and I'd also love to see some ScotRail liveries, in particular a ScotRail red striped machine. Just two products join my collection from the Caval X range in 2024, this being a pair of their all new Class 56 freight locos. These are impressive pieces of kit. They're packed with detail that's not been seen on a Class 56 model before, and ooze quality. The fit and finish on these is top class. The packaging is also impressive, being held in a plastic cradle which could double up as a display stand. I think I've seen this on Continental models before, but it's a method that I'm a fan of. It prevents the model from rubbing off the plastic packaging and leaving marks on the finish, as well as preventing bits falling off. Anyway, back to the model itself. It looks great, and I'm keen to see the results of the small tweaks they've made to their 2025 releases. I've got one of these in order, and I can't wait to see it running around the layout. This model really does capture the overall look and feel of this mighty grid. Finally, I couldn't mention this model without talking about the sound that comes from it. It is amazing, and it's one of the best sounding diesel models ever produced in 00 gauge. Only the one new model from EFE this year, and this is in the form of the 12-ton diesel hydraulic crane. This is packed with detail and features, and whilst it's not a functioning crane or motorised, it is an impressive piece of kit. I opted for the BR version in yellow with the details correct for my 1980s period. This is a useful addition, allowing me to model departmental trains, and it looks good sitting in a siding as well. It's crying out for grime to be added, and I'll look into this in the future. This year I invested a significant amount of my cash in a whole raft of models from the Margate Red Box Brigade, and the vast majority put a big smile on my face. So where do I start with this year's purchases? Well, this Sea Lion wagon is as good a place as any. This model is a re-release of the popular but underproduced ballast hopper wagon, this time finished in departmental olive green. This has been given the TMC weathering treatment and really brings the wagon to life. The model itself is an X-Lima tooling, which was given a heavy upgrade by Hornby. Only the centre dividing panel catches my eye for an accuracy, as from memory I don't think this should go all the way to the top of the hopper. But that aside, it's a lovely model and can run alongside my collection of Sea Cow wagons, also from Hornby. In early January I took delivery of 2 Hornby die-cast A4 locos as part of Hornby's Great Gathering 10th anniversary release. One of these is Union of South Africa, which has been sound fitted with an excellent recording from Digitrains. The colours in this model are more accurate than the dull muted colours used on the original models 10 years ago, and the finish on them is excellent, and the detail really shines through on this die-cast model. I also grabbed a Sir Nigel Gresley version of this model, which was the first version to sell out. I missed out on this in the first collection back in 2013, so I was determined to get it this time around, and what a model it is. Finished in express blue with white lining, this is gorgeous. It's yet to turn a wheel nearly out, but that's all about to change as I've just fitted it with a decoder, and I'll set it on its way in this video. The Hornby model of the A4 is the best on the market and confirms Hornby's status as king of all things steam. Fans of the Dream Park channel will know that I like my HSTs. In fact, they're one of my favourite trains in the real world and in model form. The Hornby HST underwent a facelift last year, so is now better than ever before. It features updated and accurate day and night running lights, powered rotating roof fan where applicable, and factory fitted speakers as standard. There's also been tweaks to the bogies, and there's an all new kinematic coupler fitted too, and from every angle it just looks the part. I've added 4 sets of the power cars to my collection this year, which was a very expensive investment. But I forgave myself as the liveries released featured the iconic Intercity Blue Grey, Intercity Executive, Classic GNER and LNER Flying Tomato set, showing the power car in its last livery when operating on the East Coast Main Line in 2019. Each DCC Ready pack cost me around £325, which some would argue is too expensive for a power car and a dummy. But in today's market, what isn't expensive? The TXS sound fitted models are retailing around £400, but that actually works out at better value for money, as each TXS decoder is around £70. So you're actually getting 140 quid's worth of sound decoder, fitted in the model, for only £75 more than the standard DCC Ready one. I think the Hornby HST is a brilliant model, but like all models, it's got areas for improvement. A mould line down the side of the cab on some models shows up in certain liveries, and the printing around the light lens surrounds can give the impression of poorly fitting lens covers. Models featuring the new light clusters don't have this, and they look superb. As far as I'm concerned, all I need now is a swallow liveried set, and I'm sorted. To go with these new power cars, Hornby released a full rake of matching coaches to allow modellers to make up a realistic formation. And these newly tooled coaches are brilliant. They took an already good Hornby product in the Mark III and brought it bang up to date, with new detailed bogies, kinematic couplers, highly detailed gangway ends, separately fitted roof detail and sharp, neatly applied liveries, along with correctly tinted glazing. The 2024 releases also have improved wheel sets with brake disc detail, which run quieter than the detailed cast wheels fitted on the first batches of the Mark III back in 2023. OK, this coach may lack factory fitted interior lighting, but that's easily fixed, as it's designed to fit Hornby's Maglite system, with interior detail coming ready to fit the lighting strip, as well as a dedicated button battery compartment on the underside of the model. And at £40 it's good value, especially when comparing it to coaches from other manufacturers. And I think Hornby have got it right with the pricing of this product. Some people won't agree with me purely because the product is made by Hornby, but this coach is one of the best on the market today. One thing that does stick in my throat is the mismatch of colours across some of the liveries. The coaches are produced at one factory, the HST power cars in another. And in the case of the BR Blue, there's a slight difference, but with the LNER Red it's far more obvious. This isn't good enough, and I told Hornby that. These issues aside, I still think the Mark III is a fantastic product, especially in this attractive GNER livery and the Intercity Executive, which are two of my favourite liveries on the HST anyway. And as I said earlier, all I need now is an Intercity Swallow liveried coach and matching power cars, and I'll be sorted with regard to this train. Praise can often be lavished on new models, sometimes without justification, but when it comes to Hornby's all-new articulated Coronation coaches, is the praise deserved? Well, in a word, yes. These are a masterstroke by Hornby. I mean, just look at them. It's a work of art in model form, and they ooze character, style and class. The quality of the fit and finish is nothing short of superb. The chrome lining on the real vehicles has been effectively recreated, as have the slightly raised letters adorning the coach sides. At the end of the rake of coaches, we've got this fantastic beaver tail observation car, and this really is the crowning glory. The way Hornby have captured this is nothing short of spectacular. I did a short rapid review in my December update. If you want to watch that, the link is at the top of the screen. So now that I've looked at all the models joining my collection in 2024, which ones are best? Well, let's look at the top two pieces of rolling stock first. This was a very close decision, with so many great items arriving during the year. However, there has to be a winner and a runner-up. So the model coming in second place is Hornby's amazing Coronation coaches. These blew my mind with their attention to detail and beautiful livery. In any other year, these would have been a winner for sure. However, the winner of the rolling stock vehicle of the year by the thinnest of margins goes to the Accurascale Mark IIB. The detail in every area of this coach is amazing, and the fact that they came in RTC red and blue just tipped the balance in their favour. The controllable lighting and detailed interior was a big plus for me, and along with the Hornby Coronation coaches, the finish on them is first class. So well done to Accurascale on their Mark IIB. You're a winner. Now on to the local winner for 2024, and this was equally as close, with so many great looking and sounding locos released from a range of manufacturers. However, for me, it was down to what put the biggest smile on my face, seeing it go around the layout. We can all marvel at the close-up details as it stands still, but what gave me the most pleasure as it moved around the tracks? Well, in second place, narrowly seeing off the mighty grid and the Class 66 shed, is Hornby's HST. The upgrades Hornby have put into this model keep it at the top of its game. It's a key model for my layout, and with the classic liveries produced by Hornby, it swung the vote in its favour. A truly impressive model, showing that Hornby can still kick it with the new boys. So, what's the winner for 2024? Well, this model swept in at the very last minute to claim the title, and it is of course the superb Bachmann HSDT prototype power car. This model just doesn't look great, but sounds top notch as well. The lighting features, intricate detail and performance of this model are all top of the league. It's a great model of an iconic piece of British rail history, and in my opinion deserves to win this year. So well done Bachmann, locomotion and rails for producing this beauty. So, what did you think of the models on display? And did you come to a different conclusion? Please let me know in the comments section below. Thanks for joining me this year, and I hope you have a great start to 2025. I'll be back at some stage with more of a focus on building Dean Park, and perhaps another project to share too. So stay tuned and please support the channel by hitting those like and subscribe icons. In the meantime, all the best, and cheers for now.